כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בין העולם הבא. בעזרת השם, the two mitzvot today, the Oraita, anybody who studies for sure is guaranteed to go to עולם הבא. The mitzvot are actually sponsored by לעילוי נשמת רבי מרדכי בן שמואל וגם וגם שלמה בן יצחק, כן? אסף, שלמה בן יצחק? אוקיי, ולרפואה שלמה לכל עם ישראל בכללם, לחיה בת לאה וגם ליאור בן אהובה וגם ליבה בת רחלי. רפואה שלמה לכל עם ישראל, בעזרת השם, starting the day mitzvot. Mitzvah number 239. Rafael, you here? Let's go. Everybody, unfortunately, to the dismay of Hashem, loves this mitzvah. I think the only mitzvah that mainly beloved by all the Jews. We spoke about, like last week, what was the proof that Yitro was a very real ger? How did you know that Yitro he was accepted and he was mamish a true ger? Nobody asked him for advice, he gave advice. That's what a Jew is. You don't ask him for anything, he gives you all the daily advices, right? I sent somebody a text on Friday about our shiur on Erev Shabbat, 1 hour before Mincha. We have a shiur, Baruch Hashem, in Hollywood here. The shiur is actually mostly try to do a chazara if possible. If not, I encourage whatever you learn throughout the week, do at least chazara. If not at Shabbat, 1 hour before Shabbat. Most people are sleeping on Shabbat, so at least the Shabbat, everybody's prepared. 1 hour before Shabbat, do chazara. So the guy tells me, here's the reply. Rabbi, nobody's going to come to your shiur. This is my advice. Make it a different time. We have over 9 shiurim a day over here throughout the week. And Baruch Hashem, 9 a day, I'm not going to, not 9 shiurim a week. 9 shiurim a day. And I don't, and it's not packed over here. So I don't know what his advice means, Bichlal. But it's the first thing. Give me advice. What's advice? Also, it's the same Agdara. Everybody likes to give tochecha. Mitzvah number 239. Mitzvah tochechat leIsrael she'ena noheg keshura. If you have a Jew that doesn't behave appropriately, there's a mitzvah to reproach him. And unfortunately to the world today, and unfortunately to our dismay, people do not know how to do this mitzvah. And it's the biggest avera in the world they perform, which will be the next mitzvah number 240, and they're both correlating. Mitzvah 240 says, don't cause other Jew harm. But mitzvah 239 says, reproach him. So which one is it? What do you want from me, Hashem? Do you want me to do tochecha, tell a Jew you're doing something wrong? Or mitzvah 240, don't embarrass a Jew? So it's a very fine line, right? Even if you are minid l'shem shamayim, if you're going to hurt another Jew l'shem shamayim, they have a beautiful place for you in Gehinom. It's called Gehinom of l'shem shamayim people. People have a special Gehinom. Hashem has also special Gehinom for these people. As we said, what is the Chatam Sofer says? Mitzvah l'shem shamayim is the biggest avera in the world. Right? The people Kevod says that l'shem shamayim never stops, and that's the problem because each one says I'm doing l'shem shamayim. Why should I stop? And the other one says I'm doing l'shem shamayim. Why should I stop? And they both continue fighting. That's the way Rav Chassam Sofer explains that Pirkei Avot Mishnah. Let's see. There is a mitzvah to reproach any Jew that is not behaving according to the Torah. Ben bedvarim shem ben adam lechaviro, uben ben adam lemakom. In any aspect, if a person is misbehaving with his friends, or mistreating his brothers and sisters, right? Or chas v'shalom, a person misbehaving with Hashem. Sheneimar, as it says in Vayikra, 19th chapter, 17th pasuk, Ocheach tochiach et amitecha. You must give rebuke to your friend or your relatives. The guy is going to be here for 2 more hours, guys, selling books. Really relax. Yeah, okay. I'm giving rebuke while I'm teaching not to give rebuke. Okay, let's see. That's what it is. We all love to give rebuke, right? Baruch Hashem. Our sages told us. How do I know that I'm sitting here and I told people don't look at the books will be here for 2 hours, and yet they're not coming, and I still could say, please gentlemen, stop with your books, come and learn? How do I know that you are allowed to continue to do it? If you are a rabbi and give a shiur, and people ask you to give a shiur, and then they go around and look at books instead of coming to shiur, the rabbi has permission because for their own good, because they asked for shiur. If somebody who didn't ask me for shiur, there are people standing right now around the books and looking at the books. I didn't mention their names. Why didn't I mention their names? Because they didn't ask me to teach them. They didn't ask me to learn with them. So I don't care about mentioning their names. It's actually going to be a avera for me now to outline them. But why it's not an avera for me to outline an individual and say his name? Because a few times, and 4 or 5 times, it says over here, you should give him again and again. Sit down and learn. Why? Because the person asked me to learn with him. Now, you're going to say, but Rabbi, come on, don't do it publicly. Afilu me'ah pa'amim. The rabbi has obligation to stop a person and to educate him. If the person asks me, and people actually don't understand this. Gaon Mivilna used to pay money for musar. I have a rule. I don't give anybody musar unless they show that they're interested in me. A person asks me to, Bezat Hashem, ask me to learn. And the person comes to me and says, listen, Rabbi, I have a few dollars maser. Can I give for your projects a few dollars of maser? And the person does that. That means now I could give him musar. Why? Because he wants me to give him musar. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to. If a person, says, if a person is not buying from you musar, you're not allowed to give him musar. You're not allowed to give him tochicha. Today is totally opposite. I will see right now in a minute why we're talking like this. No, we'll see. Now, besides the fact, the Rabbi Victor Miller Shalom says, you're not allowed to give musar to anybody today. Not allowed to. What? Why, you ask? Beautiful question. And we'll learn right now. ואמרו שם בספר, יכול מוכיחו ופניו משתנות, תלמוד לומר, ולא תישא עליו חטא. The rule is that when you give musar, it has to be in a way that he's not going to get embarrassed, in a way that he knows you're doing it to harm him. If he knows you're doing it to harm him, meaning, how do we know if he knows you're doing it to harm him? If he knows you don't love him. If he knows you don't love him. Now, I know we're all in the Jewish world, and we all like to pretend, like to play games. We say in the Siddur, Hareini ohev et kol echad ve'echad mibnei Yisrael. I love every Jew, and I love every Jew. Batich v'shmatich. You don't love anybody? Stop lying. You don't love anybody? Tell me you love anybody, please. But Rabbi, I give charity. Yeah? When you give charity? When you're approached. When you're approached. I want to know how many people sit down and go look for charity accounts. How many people go and look for charity, where to give charity? Please, come on, don't tell me batik, don't give me baloney stories. What does love mean? You go out of your way and you perform love. For instance, your child. You don't wait. The Shlema Yona bat Adel Kaden. So now, see what's going on? What love is? Love is you go out of your way and you help the person. Out of your way. And a person has to know that's the way you are towards him. And only then he knows that you are towards going out of your way to help him. Then you could give him musar. Now you're on the right page. You're on the right page. A person knows you love him. Your brother he thinks you love him. Please. Your brother he knows that I have this children. I love this by children. Right? Ma, his cake, his slice is bigger than my slice. Right? They're fighting for a slice size. What does a good brother does? Ma, why you give me such a bigger slice? Why you give me a bigger slice than him? No, my brother, my dear, here, you take the bigger slice. Huh? Now the brother sees that. My brother gave his biggest slice to me or the sister. Now they love me. Now when they're gonna give me a little bit on the butt, why are you doing bad things? They're doing it out of my love. That's what love means. That's how you're supposed to give to the people don't understand. It's kedai to say this. I should have the makor in my brain, but the problem is we were learning it in yeshiva. And many things you learn in yeshiva, I don't remember it exactly. This is the lashon in Shmirat HaLashon, I believe it was. Chafetz Chaim says, what is tochicha? What is giving somebody a reproach? He says, I'm going to give you a scenario where the Chafetz Chaim, I'm going to mention them here publicly on the video also, the Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation destroyed Chafetz Chaim's literature. They literally destroyed Chafetz Chaim. This foundation that sells millions, billions of dollars worth of books on Chafetz Chaim with his picture all over, they have zero understanding what Chafetz Chaim meant to Cloud. Zero understanding, unfortunately. They're teaching education people the wrong Torah. What are they saying? As long as you put on silk gloves and you reproach people, it's okay. But it's not true. Chafetz Chaim does not say that anywhere, that you have to put on silk gloves and reproach people. Actually, Chafetz Chaim was against that. And he gives you a scenario. What is a real approach of reproaching? What is the best way to give tochecha? He says, this is the scenario. He paints a story and he says, there was a man who moved into town. A man moved into town and he came to the minyan. And he did something at the minyan that the minyan people don't do this in this community. He did it in his community, but he acted a certain way that in his community people don't do it. So Chafetz Chaim says, imagine the president of the shul puts on the white gloves and he gently approaches this person and he says to him, how's your name? How's everything by you? Yo, thank you. Welcome to our town. And he quietly pulls him to the side. Nobody's in the shul. Can't take him to his office, and with a smile, and he looks at him and he says, my dear brother, let me tell you how we behave in our community. And he tells him out the whole story. Didn't embarrass him, right? Didn't hurt him, Kivyachol. Shalom. Chafetz Chaim says the biggest evildoer is this president. The biggest evildoer. Hi, what do you mean? According to Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation, the one that destroyed Chafetz Chaim's books, what do they say? As long as you do it nicely, gently, it's okay. No. Chafetz Chaim says, how do you reproach? This is how you reproach. Chafetz Chaim says the president of the shul should have approached this person. What's your name? Oh, you're new in town? Let me ask you a question. You have a job? Yeah, I got a job. Your wife has a job? Yeah. Your children are registered in school? Yeah. Okay, that's great. Which part of town do you live? And he tells him. At the time, says, the president goes, wow, whoa, in that street, very dangerous street. Wait, I'll take care of it. Boom, 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 boom. Makes a phone call. You have an apartment, 5 bedroom. Yeah, okay, let's go. Boom. Gets the movers. Get that guy out of the town, out of that corner. Puts him in the street where there's more presentable people, more, people who will not harm his family. That school, you told me you lived next to this community in Brooklyn or whatever. That school you're sending your daughters that you got into, why? The other school didn't accept my daughters. What? Oh. The children are in the right school. Your wife is what? She's an accountant? Yeah. But she's working for this guy. This guy's going to pay her $15 an hour. Wait a minute. Boom, 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 boom. $50 an hour job. Boom. What are you said you're doing trucking? Wait a minute. This guy, I know this guy. He rips off his workers. And he doesn't pay them on time. 1 second. Wait a minute. Makes another phone call. The guy is hired. It's a beautiful job. The guy is living like a king. Moved. Beautiful house. A month, 2 months. Comes in. מה זה? קבלת פנים. They come into the house. They do Hamakat Habayit. The president takes care of everything. Food. The market of cook. President invites the whole town to Hamakat Habayit. Mamash. They love this person. After 5-6 months, Chafetz Chaim says, the Rabbi, the president of the shul, takes this guy to the room, and he tells him, by the way, in our community, we don't do this. Says Chafetz Chaim, that's the right person. That's how you do tochecha. That's how you do tochecha. Says Rabbi Victor Miller, you're not allowed to do tochecha today. It's an aveira deoraita to give tochecha today if people know you don't love them. Not that you say, Hareini ohev et kol Israel, ve'echam b'nei Israel, and I love every Jew. Excuse me, how you sit on my seat? Right? The guy comes into the shul, somebody sit on his seat, a whole war started. Why? Somebody took his seat. 3 seconds ago, before you went to shul, you said my heart, right? Hareini ohev et kol echad b'nei Israel. You're right. Yeah, I love you. I love you, but you don't love nobody. What's the purpose of
put it in a siddur if
to get it again? All our Torah is for you is fake in the beginning, but to gain, if you don't say fakely, if I don't dress with the hip and the beard, somebody comes to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, I'm going to take off a yeshiva boy says, I'm going to take off the beard. The rabbi looks at him and says, you're interested in the outside world already, right? What are you thinking? when you look at least the religious, you'll try to become like that. If you fake it from outside, mitoch shelo lishma aval lishma. That's the whole Torah. The whole you say it 1,000 times. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Say it. Harei ani ohev kol chayot Yisrael. Yeah, say it. At least say it. One day will penetrate your soul. You'll penetrate yourself. Hopefully. But put it aside to give tochecha to people. Excuse me. We don't do that, right? Come on. Shoresh mitzvah lefi sheyesh bazeh shalom v'tova ben anashim. Now, it has to be with love. You give tochecha. What is that purpose for? Is to make peace in this world between amongst people. כשחיטה האיש לאיש והוכיחנו במסתרים, ינצל לפניו ויקבל התנצלותו וישלים עמו. So now, the purpose is for him to receive tochecha. The only time that people love to hear they did something wrong, if they know you really mean it for them good. If you're doing it for their good, not doing it for your kavod. The first case of Chafetz Chaim says why the president came. We in our community don't like that, so it's all about us. So we only care about us. And Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation missed the point in their books, the daily books that they write. Unfortunately, in my house, we don't allow this book anymore. Because in every page there should be an outline on top. Remember, first show him you love him. Remember the first rule. The person, you have to show a Jew that you love him. But no, you open up the pages and you are on the day 171. It tells you what to do. You learn from it. But you forgot the main thing. There should be a note on top of every tochecha by Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation. I'm sure they'll do teshuvah hopefully one day. They'll write it. There should be a big star saying, please reference to page 1, the first rule of tochecha, the first rule of giving musar to somebody. Every time, every page, any book, anybody who writes a book should have that on their page, up extras. Excuse me, we're going to tell you, we're going to guide you how to give musar, we're going to guide you how to behave with other people, but there should be extras on the top and guide you to the first page. Always turn to the first page and learn the first page. The first page means love a Jew and he has to know you love him. And then give tochecha. And then, B'ezrat Hashem, I'm sure Chafetz Chaim Heritage Foundation will do tshuva one day in their life, when they woke up. Okay, Medinah Mitzvah, all the things that we explained over there, how to perform the mitzvah, as Chafetz Chaim tells us. Now, with this said, even though Rabbi Victor Miller says it's asur to give tochecha, but he gives you a condition. There is a condition. A father is not, Rabbeinu Bachya, this generation is so krum, is so sick in their minds, distraught. Show your children and you love them all the time. Rabbeinu Bachya says until 13, you take a whip if you need to. You give your children, give them all. Today it's asur to give a whip. Even though there is a law, you could use a belt below the. No, you're allowed to use a belt below, and only in the butt. There's the laws. They allow you. The government, people don't understand that. Government has laws, and without any marks. You give a belt. The child should know that there is rules, and you're allowed to give a child on his butt, on his tusik. Yeah, but make sure with the pants or put a zeh, or whatever it is, but Rabbeinu Bachya says one thing you never stop is tochecha. Children must be rebuked by the parents at every turn. At every turn they should hear, this is wrong, we don't do it like this. Why? Until the age of 13. And after the father, once they're 13, now after 13, the father and the mother has to do it in a snaky way. Now you have to become a snake.
You can beat him and that's
never. Not allowed to touch them anymore. Not allowed to touch them. You could threaten them. Excuse me. You could threaten them. You could say, hello, stop. You could threaten them. No problem. They should, but rebuke. Now after 13 already, you could be like a snake and start playing games. Before they get the tzartov, you're not allowed to be snake. No playing games. Straight. Hello. This is not what we do. Finished. The child has to grow up with that. Later on, whatever happens. But the child now has to know there is no winky business. After 13, you start playing like a snake. Then you go to a Chacham. You know how to learn to become a snake, because they're already snakes also. After 13, they play games already with you. So good. So you are allowed to be deceiving them. Mitzvah 240. שלא להלבנין פני אדם מישראל. שלא לבייש אחד מישראל. We're not allowed to embarrass another Jew in any way. You don't daven good. You don't do this or you don't do that. Not your business. וזה העוון עיקראו ורבותינו זכרונם לברכה. מלבין פני חברו ברבים. Excuse me. Anybody who gives embarrassment of a Jew in public, והלאו הבא על זה הוא מה שכתוב. And it says in the Torah, in ויקרא 19 chapter 17 פסוק, הוך תוכיח את עמיתך. You have a mitzvah to rebuke a Jew, ולא תישא עליו חטא. However, be very careful, you should not harm him. ואמרו בספרה, מניין שאם תוכחתו אפילו 4 או 5 פעמים חזור והוכח, how do you know that you are allowed to repeat the תוכחה many times? שנאמר, הוכיח תוכיח יכול אפילו פניו משתנות. However, so can you give him תוכחה that he's going to get embarrassed? חס ושלום, תלמוד לומר, ולא תישא עליו חטא. Meaning, why did Chafetz Chaim say the first scenario president was wrong, even though he did it privately in his office, even though nobody saw it? How did Chafetz Chaim know he's embarrassing him? Because when he told him that we don't do this in our community, he really told the president told him, you, mister, don't worth nothing to us. You're worth nothing. You're worthless to us. You come over here, you better behave like we behave. You don't behave, get out of my shoe. You heard those Rabbonim? Never? I feel sorry for those Rabbonim. I feel sorry for them. You don't behave like we want you to behave, the door is open. Oh, excuse me, how about talking like a human being? How about talking like a human being? How about figuring out what's bothering this Jew? How about giving him love like you're obligated to give love to every Jew? Yeah? Imagine yourself. Now, this guy came into my shul, the rabbi tells me one time. Yeah. The rabbi comes in, this guy comes in to me, he tells me, Rabbi, you daven Ishmael too fast. Or you daven Ishmael too long. Yeah, that's the case. So the rabbi says, get out of my shul. What? Get out of my shul? When the guy is talking to you, when a person tells you something, what is he telling you?
You have to answer him nicely.
What does he tell you? He tells you, I'm suffering. When people talk to you, the things that you don't like, they're telling you, I'm suffering. You believe that he did something wrong? Talk to him. Sit down. Let's go. Show him. People don't understand that. It's good to say it here. Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol. Everybody knows his name? You know this name? Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol? You don't know who that person was? He closed his eyes in Yeshiva Shalmala. He came into Kodesh Kodashim on Yom Kippur. He sees Hashem sitting on a throne. This is Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol. Anytime he wants, he's talking to Hashem. He was one of the Asarei Arugei Malchut. He was bigger than Moshe Rabbeinu a billion times. Excuse me, bigger than Moshe Rabbeinu a billion times. Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol. Okay? They were walking with him with chains. Walking with him with chains. Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol, they're going to kill him now, the Romans. He was one of the 10 Arugei Malchut. He was one of the 10 holy ones, martyrs. They're walking with him, and behind him walked who? Lo and behold, the Rabban Gamliel, the teacher of Am Israel. Okay? And Rabbi Yoshua Kohen Gadol is crying. And Rabban Gamliel is walking next to him. And he says, I don't understand. I'm looking through my life from my birth. This guy, the Tanaim, they could go back to the mother's stomach. I didn't kick my mother never in the stomach. Remember, a child is being punished. Every mother must forgive her child immediately when they're born. Say, I forgive you for all the torture you're giving me. Every kick she feels, I forgive you. Because the children are being punished for it in this world. He said, I never kicked the mother's stomach. I never caused her any harm. She never vomited. I don't remember from my birth till today what I did wrong, that I'm being led, unchained, to be scalped. They're going to take away his scalp. They're going to shecht him alive. Carve him alive, what is called it. You know the carvings? You know those carvings? You have corned beef. You go to the Hatuna and they do carving over there. This is what they were doing to the Chachamim, Rashaim, Romans. Yeah, and those beautiful blondies that the goyim go out. She's going to become gioret. This is what they're coming from. This goyot. They enjoyed this with those scalping Arabanim, Islam. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so he's walking in the gallows, and Rabban Gamliel turns to him and he says, "You don't know what Avera you did? You sure you didn't do any Averas? You think it's for nothing? He said, I don't know. Rabban Gamliel, you know what Rabban Gamliel was? He said he had a shamash. His shamash stood by the door. What's his shamash stood by the door for? He would see if you're coming to the shul, if you're a faker or not in a second. Without you talking, without you anything, without the rumors, nothing. On your forehead, he would see everything. And he had a rule: if you're Rabbi Sofer, you see, I come with a beard, with a hat, and who knows how rotten I'm inside. If I come to the shul, they look at me right into the soul. Get out of here. Okay, come in. That's how his shamash was. So Rabban Gamliel turns to him and he says, maybe, he didn't say he knew. He says, maybe you told somebody something. Maybe somebody came to wait and you told him to wait. And maybe it happened one time. Shul Kohen Gadol, he was crying till now. Now he starts smiling. What happened? What happened was, one time Rabbi Yeshua Kohen Gadol was sitting by the Seudah and eating a meal. And there was a big inyan, by the way, by Hasidim, and they teach you that there is such a thing as eating the fish, at least the first fish of the Shabbat, or this was, I don't know if this was Shabbat, whatever it was, with your hands. There's such a concept. That your fingers should touch the fish, put it in your mouth, whatever it is. So, again, if you learn the Tanaim, their meals did not last like ours today. People are eating 45 minutes Shabbat. They lasted meal, you could see in the Gemara, 3-4 hours. Because they're doing Kabbalah and the whole thing. Okay, what happened with him? One time he was in the middle of the meal, and his hands were a little bit dirty. A woman comes in by the door, and they tell him there's a woman here. What does she want? She has an ed, she has a bud. You know the woman, they check themselves to see if it's blood or not. You know what I'm talking about? Neither. So she came to show me, to see if she's kasher or not. If the blood is making her tameh or not. So I came to the door, and she said she has an ed in her hands. So I told her, my daughter, tamtini. One word I told her. I told her, wait a minute. And Rabbi Yeshua Kohen Gadol me'id al atzmo. Now I know why I'm being walked to the gallows. Why? He told her to wait. He told her to wait. The Chazal say, Rabban Gamliel says to him, yes, you are right. That's why they're shechting you now. Why? How dare you tell a Jew to wait? You could have looked at it on the spot and tell her the answer. Why did you delay? Rabbi Yeshua Kohen Gadol smiled. He says, now I understand why I'm being killed. You hear what we're talking about? Today, a Jew comes to you with a complaint, hear him out. What's his problem? Who cares? Nobody cares about another Jew. Hey, here's $1. Get out of here. Here's the $2. Get out of here. Bye-bye. The guy wants to talk to you. Hear him out. Forget about tzedakah. Anything. Anybody complains to you. Anybody comes to you complain to you about something. Hear him out. No, Rabbi, I'm not a psychiatrist, but Hashem sent him to you. You're not psychiatrist, but maybe you could say something. Maybe you could utter a word that will help him.
Sometimes just to listen to him.
That's right.
Of course.
What?
Like a psychiatrist.
That's right. Not psychiatrist, but I'm talking about. But again, so the person says, I'm patur. You're not patur from anything. Today, people don't. We are abusers of everybody. We abuse everybody left and right. We don't care about people. But yet, 1 second. How come you came with shirts to shul? Shut up. How come you came with pajama to shul? Who asked you to talk?
Yeah, but if you can come all the time,
it's not your. Mechila, mish mechila.
Yes, of course. You had somebody. Somebody come to short. He doesn't know.
Show him love, Shlomo. Show him love.
If I have my son,
what love means? Shlomo, you didn't give me arak today. Excuse me. I protest. Excuse me. I protest. First of all, you didn't give me coffee. Then you didn't give me arak. And then you're screaming at me. Have a wonderful day.